Well, it's Memorial Day weekend and FedEx just dropped off a present. Hi, it's Chris. The Ryobi hybrid cooler came today, so I'm going to open up the box and see what's in it. Home Depot had them in stock for one day. They're pretty expensive at $500. I'm thinking about using it in my trailer or in my car when I go on trips. I like the idea that I don't have to buy ice for a cooler or have all the extra water and ice taking up space. I have a ton of Ryobi batteries, so I don't have to have an extra power station to run it. The box says it's a hybrid powered cooler, so it will run on the Ryobi 18-volt batteries, either AC adapter or vehicle 12 volts. It can be a freezer or a fridge, so it can go down to -4 Fahrenheit. It says it can take 40 12-ounce cans, which is a 24 quarts space, and it will run up to 23 hours on two 9-amp-hour batteries, depending on the outside temperature. It also has a 3-year warranty, but just make sure you save your original receipt from Home Depot. So there's wheels for it. Look like they go down here. It's an AC charger and a 12-volt charger. This cooler has a lot of features, so let's go over them. There's a latch here that opens up the cover. And on this side, it looks like where the batteries go in. Has space for two 9-amp-hour batteries. And looks like the display is along here. It's got a bottle opener on the side of the case here. There's a drain plug in the bottom that you can open up. When the cooler is on and you open the door, it has LED lighting, which is pretty cool. Here you can see the battery compartment with two 9-amp-hour batteries plugged in. There's a handle on the front of it that snaps out that you can pull the cooler with once you put the wheels on. There's a USB Type A port on top here. Kind of nice if you need to charge something else. The AC adapter that comes with it is 14.5 volts at 6 amps. You can also power it off 12 volts with a cigarette lighter socket plug. It should be less than 10 amps, so it will work in a car outlet. The wheels are nice, solid, hard rubber, and they just slip on the axle. The instruction manual says that the tires come with a sleeve, but my kit didn't. The wheel just slips on the axle. I had to push the axle in from the other side because there wasn't enough on this side. And I'm using the small washer and the lock washer. Once you have the screw and washer in, there's a cap and it has these little clips. You just have to slide them in the groove here and they click in. The cooler has tie-down straps on all 4 corners, so you could install it securely in a van or a trailer. There are a couple interesting points in here. It says for indoor use only. Do not sit on the lid. You've got to make sure that you don't block the airflow around the unit. And this is only for temporary use in kitchens, not intended for permanent use. It says never leave the product running unattended. So I guess you can't leave it in your car or whatever to keep things cool where you're someplace else. When you have the two 9-amp-hour batteries installed, there is enough space that you can store the 12-volt adapter alongside, and you can store the AC cord on the other side, but there's no place to put the power brick. You can't leave it on top because it won't shut, and there's not enough space on the side to put it. So I guess you have to carry it separately. With just one 9-amp-hour battery, there is room to put the other 12-volt adapter and the AC adapter in the compartment. And it shuts and latches. To turn it on, you hit the power button here. It tells you that you're in either max or eco mode. It tells you the temperature and it tells you the voltage. To turn it back off, you press and hold the power button for several seconds. The cooler has 2 modes, max and eco, and you can just You hit this button here and it will switch between, now it's in eco, or I can hit it again and it goes back to max. This is the temperature inside the unit right now. It's to set the temperature you want it to be, because this can be a freezer or just a refrigerator. You can change the temperature. It's a plus and minus. So if I wanted to try to go all the way to -4, it's the coldest it will try. And it tells you that you're in Fahrenheit here. The unit has a really useful feature. It's got a battery cutout mode, so if you're hooked up to your car battery, you don't want the car battery to go dead, totally dead. So if you hold the settings button for 3 seconds, it will flash quickly, and now you can cycle through low, medium, or high, and there's a chart that shows what voltage is that it will cut out on. Here's the voltage reference for the cutouts. It says in low mode, the cutout is 8.5 volts, medium is 10.1, and high is 11.1. These are still pretty low values. You typically don't want your lead acid batteries to go below 50%, otherwise you'll ruin them, give them less life. One of the nice features of this is if you have a battery plugged in and you're hooked up to AC or to the 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter, you can see currently it's running off the plugged in part, but if you were to disconnect this plug here, it stays running. It just flips over to the internal battery. You can see the charge on the battery. They recommend that before you use this, you plug it into the AC and get it down to the temperature you want with your stuff inside. Then move it outside and let the battery or the 12-volt continue to provide the cooling to keep it at the temperature. Well, my first disappointment is that my standard 1-liter bottles of seltzer and soda and stuff do not fit. They're too tall. My orange juice and my almond milk fit pretty well. 3 containers of salads fit pretty well. And of course, soda cans fit. You can stack them too high. My 1-liter bottles do fit if I put them horizontally. If I play Tetris with all my things, I can actually fit my leftover cherry pie. Darn, I guess I don't get to eat it now, since it fits. Empty the core weighs about 40 pounds, but once you start putting stuff in it, it gets heavy pretty quickly. So it's pretty nice that it has the wheels and the handle to pull it with. Once the core reaches the temperature you set, it will just turn off and wait till it warms up again, and then it will turn back on. Well, it turns out you can run the core off the Ryobi power source with the 12-volt cigarette lighter plug. I did this because I wanted to see how much it was drawing. I've set the core down to -4 in eco mode here, and if you look, it's drawing 39 watts at a little under 12 volts. Now on max mode, it's running around 53 watts. Once it gets down to temperature, it draws very little. With the AC adapter plugged in, with the transformer, it's taking 63 watts on max mode. The label says it's a 1 amp USB type A port, and I've got it set and I'm drawing an amp from it, so I can do that. I'll push it up to see how high I can go. So it's interesting, I pulled more than 1 amp out of this and the whole thing shut off. Well, the box says if you have 2 9-amp hour batteries and that you fill up the cooler with pre-refrigerated contents, chilled to 40 degrees, and the outside temperature is 70 degrees, it'll run for 23 hours. But I'm going to do my own test. I've moved the cooler out into the sun. It's 85 degrees Fahrenheit out. I've got the cooler preloaded and pre-cooled. I'm running on max at 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've got one 9 amp hour battery that's 162 watt hours. So if the compressor runs the full time, it's probably run for 2 to 3 hours. I know the gray and green are Ryobi colors, but I gotta think that if they made the cover white, it'd be more efficient because that gray cover is really hot out in the sun. Well, the experiment has to come to an end because it's time for dinner and I used the salads for part of the test load. It looks like the voltage is down after 4 hours to 17.4 volts, which is 2 bars. So what do I think? It's a nice little unit. It's pretty expensive, but if you have Ryobi batteries already, it's nice because you can go off-grid and not have to worry about lugging ice and water and the extra weight. If you need a larger unit and you don't need so much portability, there are other companies like IceCo that make larger freezers that cost about the same. Well, I hope this information was helpful. If it was, please hit like and subscribe, and have a great day.